All right, Chicago police have arrested 4 people during protests over the shooting of a teenager, which demonstrators say authorities covered up. Demonstrators packed the streets and paralyzed Black Friday shopping. The resignations of top city officials, claiming there was a year-long cover-up of a police dash cam video showing the officer fatally shooting 17-year-old LaQuan McDonald. Let's discuss this further with our legal guys. Avery Freeman, a civil rights attorney and law professor. Good to see you. And Richard, hello. Uh-oh, I don't hear you yet. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, and Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor. Good to see you. All right, and you're coming from New Orleans today, right, Richard?
I'm at Marvin Big Z's world-famous Broussard in the French Quarter.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so Avery, you first, protesters say there was a year-long cover-up of this dash cam video showing the killing of McDonald. How can an allegation like this be proven?
Well, the delay, I think, is unconscionable. I think it's bad public policy, terrible legal justification. This is something you want to do at the time. Perhaps city officials said, we don't want another Ferguson. We don't want to release it back from October 2014. But Frederica, bad judgment. On top of that, I think prosecutors meet all 4 elements of murder 1. And finally, you've got of 12,000 cops, only 420 or more excessive force complaints. Jason Van Dyke's one of them, and the department says that's a low-rate time for the Department of Justice to get into Chicago.
And so, Richard, this Jason Van Dyke had almost 20 civilian complaints against him, even though he was cleared of those allegations in almost every case. How might that impact this investigation and where this case goes?
You know, Fred, there were no penalties given to him. He was exonerated on every one of those complaints there. And the family, I believe, was rushed into a quick settlement here early on. They got $5 million, a lot of money in any kind of settlement against a municipality. But, there was a wrongful retention claim that I think could have brought more money for them, and they were rushed into it. After looking at this video, Fred, this January will start 15 years with Avery, you, and me together every week. And I must tell you, Fred, wow, in the 15 years we've been doing this, I have not seen such a brutal massacre as I have seen in this video that took place here. And I always say in these cases, when you don't listen to a directive or a command from law enforcement, nothing good is going to happen. And here, more than nothing good happened. This police officer reloaded his gun. In other words, he had 12 shots. He took out the cartridge and put another magazine in and emptied into this man. There was smoke coming out of his back. This is a murder 1 conviction, Fred. They will have to make a resolution. There was no legal defense to this case. And
Avery, this is beyond disturbing, especially just how, Richard was describing that account. What do you see happening here? I mean, what do you see in this sequence of events?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that Jason Van Dyke is going to be looking to the other 8 officers. The big missing piece here is what were they seeing? What was their reaction? Why was Van Dyke claiming there was some imminent threat of danger and he had the fear of death or injury? It's going to turn on that, Frederica. That's the up or down in this case. I agree. Well, we actually did agree that I think prosecutors are in very good shape in getting a murder 1 conviction.
Fred, there's nowhere to go, Fred. There is no imminent fear of threat. This officer was not being confronted. The man was walking away from the officers at the time. Fortunately, there's a video to show this. Can you imagine if there was not a video and how many cases go down without videos?
And quickly, Avery, what's your last point?
Well, that video was everything between citizens and without the First Amendment, frankly, Chicago Tribune pushing to get that video, we'd never know. So, again, look for these kind of developments in any kind of excessive force claims, particularly this one in Chicago.
Yeah, so horribly disturbing.
Absolutely.
And, Richard, thanks so much for helping to recall your commitment, the 2 of you, that you have been with us. And of those 15 years, come January, well, it'll be a little over 15 years, I will have been with you all as our little trio here for 15 years.
Captain. You're the captain.
Wow. Right. Well, I don't know about the captain. I am following you all's lead. You all educate and teach us every weekend, and we really appreciate your commitment. Avery, Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you, Fred.
All right.